Previously on Evolution on the Mic.
And we are back. Season 3, The Journey to Success. Episode 7, The Growth You Earn. Today, episode 7, we will be talking about the growing pains to success and how in our journey to success, every level of achievement requires a different version of you. What I want to accomplish today, it doesn't matter what I did yesterday. Doesn't matter what I did last year. What matters is what I put in today so that I can get what I need for tomorrow. If I want to hit another level, it requires another level of sacrifice. It requires another level of mindset. It requires another level of spirituality and my relationship with God.
They're already at the top. They're already making lots of money. They're already in a great place in their life. Why are they still training? And it's because they have a fire. They want to be better. Being just where they're at is not enough.
It's time to evolve. Evolution on the mic, evolution on the mic. Here to unite, great minds and leaders of the future.
You know?
100%. Yeah, I when you were talking about those questions of like, what is my goal and what is it that I want to achieve? Like, there is also that question, you brought it up about, well, why am I not achieving it? What is it that's keeping me back from getting there? And I like to believe that there's truth in fear. Like, there really is. There's truth in fear. When we face our fears, there's something we start to realize about ourselves that comes out in the form of truth that, if used in the right way, can propel us forward. But we start to really understand ourselves more when we lean into fear. We understand what things are keeping us back, but not only that, we understand what things are a strength for us. Because I truly believe that the things that we run from is because those are things that we know subconsciously, we know are sources of strength for us. But there's this thing where it's like, oh, when you know you're so good at something, and there's a potential that you can fail, and that maybe someone's always told you, hey, you're great at speaking, you're great at carrying, you always have such a great personality about you. But then it's like, man, I'm about to put myself out there. Like, what if I don't do that? What if I don't live up to the expectations that people have already set for me? What does that mean? And it's like, we start to learn some things about ourselves. And as we allow ourselves to feel that and lean into that and trust God, He will show a path of where we need to go and what we need to maneuver to get to where we need to be. And then the other beautiful thing about all of this is, I'll speak for myself, but I feel as though I don't appreciate things in life unless I've earned them. The things that we're given, yes, it's nice. We get them, it's a gift. But when you've earned them, it brings on a different type of appreciation, a different type of gratitude when you've earned it, when you've put the blood, sweat, equity in, and you've received the fruits. It's like no different than a farmer that's tilling the field. I'm out in the field and I'm going out every single day picking weeds. I'm going out every single day, watering my crops every single day. When you see that first little sprout, you get pumped. You're excited. You're like, yes, I see the fruits of my labor. I see the things I'm doing that is allowing me to reap the benefits of what I believed would come, right? And as I continue to lean into that, it just fuels that faith. It fuels that energy within me that spills into so many other areas of our lives. And so I believe that the earning phase, when we're in that earning mode and we're pushing ourselves to our limits, there's so many other benefits that come besides just the actual outcome. You achieve the outcome, but the growth in who you are as a person, the growth in who you will become, and the growth that you will even start to push out to others who are around you, to me, is where the real magic happens. Because you start to understand things about yourself that you maybe never saw before. People start to see you in a different light. Yeah. People start to go, wow, you feel different. Something about you is different, right? And you start to become what I consider a testament for God, because you start to say, hey, look, yeah, I was in a dark place and there were some things I was doing that wasn't right. I had to make some shifts. And in making those shifts, this is what came from it. And that inspiration, no matter what you said, that inspiration becomes something for someone else, which starts a movement. And so I love the whole idea of you're earning and putting that time in, and I'll share something personal for me that this relates to is my weight loss journey. And so when I was on the show The Biggest Loser, and I was losing weight, one of the things you heard oftentimes about that show was everyone puts their weight back on. Everyone puts their weight back on. And I'll never forget when I first lost the weight on the show, and I lost over 150 pounds. I vowed from that point forward that I would never put that weight back on again, never in my life. And I will say I was successful for 10 years. For 10 years, I kept the weight off, never gained it back. I might have gained, 10 pounds here and there, depending on Thanksgiving or Christmas and how good the meal was. But like I'd put on some here and there, but I never gained the weight back. But what I did notice was after that 10-year mark, I went through some very tough times in my life, and life just got super hard. My system that I had in place of what I eat, my meals, when I work out, everything in my schedule that was set got completely destroyed. I could no longer follow the system that I had before, and I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for something new. And I allowed myself to fall into old habits. Stress took over. I lost my faith, and I allowed myself to fall into the same habits that I had when I gained the weight. And before you know it, I started gaining the weight back, and I started putting the weight back on. And at one time, it even got heavier than when I had even started when I was on the show. And it was scary. It was scary. But I realized that again, just like we're saying in this episode, like you have to earn the growth. Keeping that weight off, and sometimes people are like, oh, like keeping the weight off, it's easier said than done. No, no, no. If you are committed, if you know your goal and you're committed to your goal and you put that time in, even the mornings when you wake up and you're about to get out of the bed, and I had plenty of those. And I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym today. I'm not trying to go to the gym today. Screw that. I knew I had to push myself to go to the gym. And the times I did that were the times that I kept my weight off. I still needed, because of my body type and me being different, I couldn't eat what everyone else ate, but that was okay. I was fine with that. But it was when the morning started coming where I'd hit the alarm clock and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going today. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Or, I'll do it later tonight. And I started making those decisions that things started to fall off. And the reason was because I stopped earning. I stopped pushing. To me, it was now, oh, well, I've done enough time. Like I've done enough. Like I've worked my butt off. I can have an extra cheat meal this week. I don't have to go to the gym this week. It's okay. I got muscles. I'm good. And that is, to
Yep.
me, is a sickness. When you start to think that and you let that creep in, all of that fire, all of that burn, all of that stuff inside of you that you've been using as fuel just gets sucked up. It's like it just goes away.
Yep.
Because now you've allowed doubt to creep in. Now you've allowed the enemy to come in and start saying things to you that's not true, but you believe it because you've lost your faith. You've lost your way. And I'll never forget, like even look at myself now, I've lost weight from where I was. So I'm not as heavy as where I was, but it's still a journey. And I still have to make those choices every day. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some mornings where I'm like, yep, I'm not going today. And when things get hard. And this episode is just a reminder of the
Mhm.
earning that comes. To be the best of the best, you have to put the time in. It doesn't just come by chance. It doesn't just come by luck. Yes, luck plays a small fraction of a point. Like sometimes luck is it just dice fall in your favor, and that's okay. But that's not all the time. We
Yep.
want consistency. We want consistent results that we get every time. And to do that, that requires a pattern. It requires a system. It requires practice. It requires dedication. It requires doing things that others don't do, because doing things that others don't do is what sets you apart. And this is my last part. I was looking at this thing on Instagram, and they had two escalators on the side, and then up the middle was stairs. And I don't know how many people have seen this. Sometimes you go to airports, you'll see this. They have the escalators where you just stand and then you go up, and then there's the stairs you could walk up. And then this on this reel and Instagram, it showed everyone was funneling to the escalators that were going up. And then there's one guy was walking up the stairs in the middle, and then it said, "Don't do what 99% of people do." And it just hit me. When you think about it, the guy that walked up the middle, what was he doing? He was earning. He was moving his body. He wasn't just sitting there laying back, arm on my phone, scrolling as I'm going up the escalator. He made a choice, a conscious choice, a conscious decision to take action. He wasn't going to be passive. He was going to take action. And by him taking action, he will reap the results, even in that moment, just by getting his heart rate up. That's a cardiovascular benefit. His blood's pumping. He has a little bit more energy. Yeah, he might got to the stairs. He was a little bit, maybe a little bit winded. But what he did in that moment was more than what 99% of people did in that moment. So I'm grateful that you brought this up, Adi, because it's hitting home for me even in my own personal experiences.
Oh, well, I definitely love that because, you know, like I always say, like this podcast is God led. And, you know, he put it in my heart through a conversation that I had recently with a friend of mine. And I'm glad that we can dialogue together, even though people are watching us and this is going to be recorded, you know, forever. It's a moment in time for us and we're realizing our struggles. We're realizing where we're at, where we want to be. What mindset do we need to cultivate to get there? And then realizing that nothing is going to be handed to us, that we got to keep earning it every day. We have to earn the different levels because when you, especially with weight loss, you know, losing, they say the first 10 pounds is the easiest because it's just water weight, right? And then you get to a place where you're maintaining it. So like some people say like that's the hardest, you know, but every level of weight loss in its own world has its own level of hard, you know, and has its own level of where my mindset needs to be at. You know what I mean? Like when you're striving just to, you know, lose weight versus getting abs and having muscles, that's a whole different level of discipline, sacrifice, what I got to do. And that's going to take a different level of mindset. And it's earned. People with abs, they've earned that. There's no surgery that's going to get you abs. There's no diet pills going to get you abs. There's no single meal that's going to get you abs. It is what you do every day in and out consistently, putting in the work that you're going to earn the abs. And that is the same thing with weight loss. It's the same thing in business. It's the same thing in relationship, in marriage, in anything that we are trying to achieve and do and have is going to take your growth, your mental growth, spiritual growth, like just in every area growth. And I just want to say one thing that when it comes to achieving and doing and having, there's going to be times where you're going to make efforts to try and get something done. I think you said this before and it's just been on my mind and I'm like, I have to mention it, that you're going to try and you might fail. And some people might be like, well, I had a goal. I knew the level I wanted to go to and I tried, but that didn't go well. Maybe I got no likes, no followers. People were criticizing me and it got me nowhere. So today I decided it's not for me. Different goal. And it's like, it is okay. It is just the effort that you're putting to show yourself, I am trying this new thing. And anything that we try to put in effort, we get better in time, like fine wine, right? So the more we do it, the more we practice it, the more we put our time, effort, dedication, resources, learning, okay, like damn, I did that, maybe that didn't work. What can I do next? Okay, I did that, that worked, but now I gotta try something else. And once you keep adding and doing and formulating that thing to yourself, it will eventually work. But you put in that time. So some people get discouraged. So I'm just saying that don't get discouraged. I'm even speaking to me. You don't get discouraged. You know, when you're creating these reels and these content and putting yourself out there and you're getting no responses, it's gonna be my real estate of information over time. It's gonna be something that people can look back to and like hear me talking and just getting to know me and feeling my vibe. And that's the important thing. It's so that I'm going to create just one great content or one great video and it's going to blow up. If I'm thinking about that, I need to just stop now. But that's not my goal. That's not my plan. My plan is just, I got to be consistent. I got to keep growing. I got to keep doing. I got to keep putting myself out there. And over time, I am going to reap the benefits of all that work that I put in. That's just fact. That's going to happen. So a lot of people stop before they even really start, because they think I did it once or twice, it didn't work. The same for me. It's too much work and I didn't see no benefits of it. And that's why, you know, we have the amount of people that we have that are successful and the amount of people that we have that are not. Because it's easy to take the easy way out and not continue doing something when it's a lot of time, effort, dedication, consistency, work. You got to earn it every day. You got to do it. And then you're not getting that instant success, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Because in that momentum, you keep doing it, you build a lot of momentum. And over time, it just becomes second nature to you, you know?
Yeah. I like to say when you think about your goals should inspire you. And so I think one of the big things is figuring out a way in which your goal literally lights a fire in you. Where if you feel like you're not achieving your goal, which is what I feel probably was driving some of this for you, Adi, is that, yes, you were making the money, but at the same time, there was bigger plans. We've talked about this on the show. When we talk about
Yep.
Mentors Way, there's bigger plans here. And every day that you're not moving towards that goal of Mentors Way, you feel like you are losing something, like something's being ripped away from you. And that is what forced you to start looking at yourself saying something needs to change. You get curious. You say saying something needs to change, and you took those steps. And so I just want to put that out there for anyone that's listening. I mean, evaluate your goal too in this process, and you might have to rewrite some of your goals, like because they just may not be inspiring enough for you. But once you find a goal that's inspiring, that gets you excited, that lights a fire, and you start to earn each of those steps, and you realize that, hey, with each thing I'm doing, I'm moving closer to making my goal a reality. It changes the game.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that you said that, because that's exactly what happened, Antoine. Exactly what happened. Like, if my goal is Mentors Way, it requires way more capital than what I made that first week in May. So I was like, why did I get so comfortable? That money is not just for me to be able to live and pay my bills and have savings and be able to say I made X amount for the month, I'm good. Who said? Mentors Way requires the funds that I'm going to need to bring that nonprofit off the ground, because I want to be able to fund it and be the founder and fund it on my own with my own, money. At first, I want to be able to be the one that puts the money out. I need to have a lot of capital. So I cannot just be like, well, I made enough for the month, I'm good. Like I made enough to say I'm, my goals are met for the month. Like, and I was like, we need to stop that. If you make X for the first week and you put in that effort, great. Mentors Way. Now you need to make X more, because your goal, your work ethic, who I need to grow into, all that work that I need to put in and within myself and how I see myself is for me, because I'm going to be running. If I'm running multiple businesses now, I am going to run a whole slew more in years to come. I'm going to be managing a lot more people. I'm going to have a lot more responsibility, accountabilities in my grasp. And I know that, but I've asked for it and I'm okay with that. I'm with it, I can be trusted with that type of responsibility. I know it. So I know God is going to give it to me. But I was like, something isn't right. Something isn't right. What did I do? Where did I go wrong? And once I realized where I went wrong and I connected with Mentors Way, I actually started reading The Rich and Righteous by Julian Gordon again a few weeks ago. And when I started reading that book again, it connected me back to Mentors Way and my purpose. You know what I mean? And what money wants from me. Who do I need to become to attract all this money? If I want millions, right? What service am I providing? What value am I creating to need millions, right? So I started going back into that. And then I started feeling like, I feel like I failed God. I started to feel sad. Like I started to feel like, like I was just trying to do this for me and totally forgot about my bigger purpose. And it was like for a short period of time. It was like a week or two, but that week or two felt like years, because you don't do that, Adi, And I'm just so grateful that I have a big why. I am so grateful that Mentors Way keeps me alive. It keeps me humble. It keeps me grinding. It keeps me wanting. It keeps me going. It keeps me, wanting more. But that all those things that I want and craving for more, they're not for me at all. So when I think about me and only me, it's that feeling makes me really depressed. When I think about Mentors Way and working hard and grinding and getting all this extra capital, is when I think about mentoring the people that is going to impact, it's like I get back to this level of freedom in my heart and my being and my movements and how I'm thinking and how I want to keep growing, because I can stay here and be okay with the money I make, with the skills I have. I can stop here now and live better than a lot of people in my life. But that was never the goal of the plan. It was to have Mentors Way, right? It was to have an empire. It was to leave a legacy behind. It was to have all these things that is going to help other people. And that's what keeps me grounded. So I'm just saying, Antoine, thank you for bringing mental weight into this, because that is exactly why I felt what I felt when my friend was like, the growth you earn. And I was like, what what have I been doing to earn more right now? And that's when I was like, I'm not doing enough. There's more than I need to do. I'm grateful for what I've done, I have earned the things that I have now, but there's things that I want more, and I want to earn that. And what do I need to do? What else do I need to grow into? Who do I need to become? And that's why this conversation came about, and why we're sharing, and why I'm getting so transparent and vulnerable, is because anybody else that's feeling and going through the same thing I am, I want you guys to know you're not alone, right? And the steps that you maybe could take to get your own self out of this, connecting with your why, and understanding that it's going to take different levels of you, opening your mindset, and that's okay. Understanding that you want to earn everything that comes your way. You want to be able to say, I did that. Nobody gave that to me. That is a great feeling. And that with God, all those things that you want to have and be, he can make that possible for you if you continue to lean into him, you continue to believe, and you continue to understand that know that it takes effort on your behalf.
I think everything you're saying is so spot on, and I there was something you said earlier that I want to go back to, and again, I want to be vulnerable in this process too, and share some things that I've learned through my years. I feel like we all grow from each other's experiences, and so I don't know who may need to hear this, but this was something I learned. But you were talking about your boss, and you're saying how we can't expect our boss just to come in and give a raise, and how sometimes we feel as though, oh, like I'm working my butt off, I'm doing all the things I need to do, like my boss is just going to walk through the door and give me a raise, and it never happens, and we wonder why it never happens. And so one of the things I also want to point out is that in your earning journey, someone may not always see the work that you're putting in, right? Like we'll look at all of the people who've made it, who are at the top, and we don't always see all the work that goes in behind the scenes. You just see the finished product. And it can be perceived at times that the finished product of where they've gotten to was easy, or oh, they got there by luck, or oh, they got there because their dad or their mom is rich. And the reality is that it doesn't always play out that way. Just because you don't see what happens behind closed doors doesn't mean things aren't happening behind closed doors. And I say that because wherever you're at, like if even in your career, you should share your experiences and things that you're going through. You should share the work that you're doing. And I know some of you might feel a little bit uncomfortable doing that, but the reason you should do that is so that people understand what it takes to get to where you are. It becomes more of an inspiration. And I believe that anybody that gets intimidated by it or feels a certain type of way about that, it wasn't for them anyway. So it's all good. Yeah. What you're sharing wasn't for them. But it's really important that we share those experiences. And that was something I learned in business because I was one of those people. I worked my butt off. I was always the person that was going above and beyond. And there were a couple times where I had got passed up for a promotion. And I was like, why do I keep getting passed up for promotions or getting passed up for awards? I know the work ethic I put in compared to someone else. And what I realized was that I was the last person to share what I was doing behind the scenes. People would see the results, but they wouldn't always see the work that would go in. So sometimes the work or the results looked like, oh, that was light work, that was easy. When in actuality, no, you had no clue what went into trying to make that happen. And so I learned that the more I started to share what I was doing, and it's not coming across in a cocky way, like, look at me, look what I've done. It's more coming across in a way of, this was what I learned. Here were some things I had to do a little bit differently. Oh, did you know that when you do this, it doesn't work right? You have to do this a little bit differently. Or, oh, this process we were doing before wasn't working. So I had to create a whole new process. They're not going to see the new process you've created that saved the company an hour a day, which translates into 365 hours a year, right? They're not going to see that because you're not going to do that. You've created the process, and now that process is allowing you to produce the results. But sometimes You need to say, hey, did you know that you guys were doing this process and it was taking way longer than you need to do? So what I actually did was I found that if you do X, Y, and Z, I can save you an hour. And now that hour that I've saved saves me 365 hours for the year that I'm putting into this business. That hits different because then people start to see your value. And so I just want to make it clear it's there's nothing wrong with showcasing your value or showcasing the things that you learn. There's nothing wrong with that because the right people will hear that and the right people will receive that and it will inspire them.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's okay. I won't even say sometimes, it's always okay to share your learnings, to share your findings, to share the things that you're going through, because it's through sharing it that we all grow. And I encourage you all, like, share what you feel like. It's a space, it makes me feel uncomfortable sometimes to open up about
Mm-hmm.
those things. But I tell you, every time I open up about it, I find someone else who's either going through the same thing or
Yep.
someone who can relate and they go, wow, thank you for sharing.
Exactly.
Because you said that, I'm now able to do X, Y, and Z in my life. And that to me is worth everything.
Yeah, no, that's exactly true. That's why we're here, and when we're talking about our struggles, we're talking about the things that we're trying to do and the steps that is taking to get there, and our our wins and our losses, because we want other people to see, like, this is the real process to success. And that's why
Mhm.
we created this season, the journey to success, and why we've had people interviewing, giving us their testimony of their journey to success and their perspectives, so that you guys can see the different perspectives of the journey to success and the different things that people do, right? Some of them are very similar, other them, they're different. And they're all, we're all being vulnerable and open and transparent about all of that. And I want all of you guys to get a sense of that and to feel that, because once we do that, you guys can be like, oh, okay, that's what it takes, that's normal, oh, that's a part of the process, okay, cool. Like, I'm not completely off my game, like, this is just a part of it, and I gotta keep going you know and just
Right.
understand, you guys, that this episode, we called it the growth that you earn. And we're talking about the pains, the growing pains of success. You're gonna mess up, you're gonna be scared, you're gonna feel the pain, but all of that leads to growth. All of it leads to who the person that you say you want to become. All of it. And you are not alone if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling overburdened, overwhelmed, you're feeling maybe like you're not the smartest in groups you're in or in school, and you're just like, I'm never going to get it, I want to throw in the towel. I'm telling you right now, do not throw in the towel, because you do not know that tomorrow you might wake up with a totally different perspective. Maybe after watching this show, you might wake up tomorrow like, you know what, that thing that I was doing, I thought I was really giving it my all, but today I'm going to give it my all. I thought that I, was sacrificing enough, but today I'm going to sacrifice enough. Today is the day. So don't give up. Don't think about whatever you thought yesterday, how you were doing yesterday, and how yesterday wasn't that great. No, 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 no. When you know better, you do better. So now, you guys, I hope that you know better, right? That you know that all the pains that come with growth and all the pains that comes with success, but it is a beautiful journey to walk through. It is a beautiful journey to go through, because we're doing this all for the glory of God and his purpose in our lives, to be a good steward for his children. And that is what I want to do. That's what Antoine wants to do. And that's what we're trying to showcase here, and what I want for you guys too, so that we can all contribute in our own beautiful, unique, distinctive way to make heaven on earth. So I hope you guys got value from this. I hope something touched you. I hope a perspective is starting to brew, to shift, and that you wake up tomorrow with a whole different mindset of your life, your goals, the next levels, the different versions of you that you need to become. And know that it's okay, and that it's normal, and that God is with you, and that you're not alone. All right? So, as usual, y'all, if you have any thoughts, comments, or anything that you would like to share, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. And with that, thank you for tuning in. And until our next episode, always remember that having faith in God, having faith in yourself, and having faith in others will create the evolution that you are seeking.